You thought Grace Brothers was just laughs and innuendo, but behind the fitting rooms and catchphrases are some truly shocking truths that change everything you thought you knew. Fact 1.
Mr. Granger, are you free?
Oh, yes, I'm free.
The very first episode of Are You Being Served was never intended to air on its original date. It was sitting unaired when a programming gap opened after the Munich Olympics were interrupted by a terrorist attack in 1972. The BBC urgently needed filler content and decided to broadcast the pilot. It wasn't a strategic launch, it was a last-minute patch. Surprisingly, the episode pulled in strong viewership and caught the attention of BBC executives.
Morning, Mr. Humphries.
I withdraw the offer.
Men's apparel.
Had that programming emergency not occurred, the show may never have been greenlit for a full series. The pilot's accidental debut became one of the most important scheduling decisions in BBC comedy history. The audience response convinced the BBC to commission a full season.
Good morning, madam. Are you being served?
Just having a look.
So's he.
So a show that nearly didn't air became a British institution by sheer coincidence. Fact 2.
Blue to match my eyes.
I thought they were blue to match your varicose veins.
Before it aired the Are You Being Served, pilot faced major resistance inside the BBC. Executives felt it was too old-fashioned and lowbrow, even by 1970s standards. They worried that the sexual innuendos, double entendres and slapstick humour would alienate modern viewers. Some considered the setting, a fading department store, uninspiring and outdated. The script was passed around several departments before anyone approved it for a pilot.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Fortunately, they vary in size too, so the charges are
Only after the unexpected success of the accidental broadcast did attitudes shift. Once it became clear that audiences loved it, the network quickly reversed its position. The same BBC leaders who had rejected the show now praised it as bold and hilarious. It's a classic case of TV gatekeepers underestimating public taste and getting proven wrong in spectacular fashion.
Of course they are pure velour. Oh, pure velour. Oh.
Fact 3.
Well, if I'm not home on the stroke of 6, my pussy goes mad.
One of the most recognisable features of the show was Mrs. Slocombe's ever-changing hair colour. It changed from episode to episode, sometimes lavender, sometimes blue, sometimes bright pink. But it wasn't just a quirky fashion choice, it was a deliberate running gag.
Mr. Humphries, leave my pussy alone.
The idea came from Molly Sugden herself, who wanted the character to feel larger than life. She thought the unpredictable hair added absurdity to an otherwise strict, conservative persona. It also made her instantly recognisable to viewers, even in still photos. The BBC makeup department had to develop special wigs and hair dye routines, just for her.
Never have any trouble in getting up in the morning. My pussy's just like an alarm clock.
Eventually, Mrs. Slocombe's hair became part of the show's signature style. It symbolised the clash between her prim attitude and her surreal appearance, an iconic contradiction that made the character unforgettable. Fact 4.
Yes, Mr. Humphries.
Getting changed.
Mr. Humphries became one of the most iconic characters in British sitcom history. Flamboyant, cheeky, and outrageously camp. But he wasn't originally written that way. The scripts described him as simply young and theatrical. It was John Inman's performance that brought the character to life with a clear camp energy. Inman added voice inflections, body language, and comedic timing that leaned heavily into stereotypical gay mannerisms. When asked if Humphries was gay, the writers always answered vaguely, saying, "He's just very friendly." This ambiguity helped the character become widely accepted, even in conservative homes. Inman later revealed that he intentionally avoided confirming Humphries' sexuality to keep the character palatable for all audiences.
I thought he was doing rather well.
What started as subtle choices became a defining feature of the show, one that sparked laughter, debate, and cultural conversations. Fact 5.
What are you doing, Mr. Humphries?
There's a mouse round my drawers.
Even during its original run, Are You Being Served? Was criticised for pushing boundaries. Many viewers loved the suggestive humour and cheeky double meanings, but others sent complaints to the BBC, calling the show smutty and indecent. Critics felt that its innuendo-laced dialogue and sexual wordplay were inappropriate for family viewing. Mrs. Slocombe's repeated references to my pussy became infamous and controversial. Despite this, the show maintained massive popularity and was regularly among the BBC's most watched comedies.
With rare and magic perfume.
Executives often defended the humour as harmless fun, rooted in British music hall tradition. The controversy only seemed to boost the show's popularity. It became clear that the line between risque and unacceptable was shifting. And Are You Being Served? Was leading that change. Fact 6.
I like Jim Kerr. Do you know Simple Minds?
No, but I work with a few.
Though very British in tone, Are You Being Served? Became an unexpected international hit. It was syndicated in over 50 countries, including the United States, Canada, and Australia. In Australia, the show was so popular that it regularly aired in prime time. American public television stations ran the show late at night, developing a cult following. Despite cultural differences, audiences connected with the humour and exaggerated characters. Even the laugh track and low-budget sets didn't deter fans abroad. It helped introduce British comedy to viewers who had never seen anything like it. The show's success paved the way for other imports like Keeping Up Appearances and Fawlty Towers. And to this day, it remains one of the most exported British sitcoms ever made. Fact 7.
£56, sir.
And the same for my friend here.
The fictional Grace Brothers store was based on several real-life London department stores. Co-creator Jeremy Lloyd had once worked at Simpsons of Piccadilly, which served as direct inspiration. He drew from his personal experience in retail to create the atmosphere, the hierarchy, and the absurd rules. Even the store's floor system and the use of a public address announcer were lifted from real life. The world of stuffy managers, flirty sales staff, and outdated procedures was rooted in truth. Shoppers in the 70s found the setting oddly familiar. The show exaggerated reality, but only slightly. It was a satire of a dying breed of British retail, and that authenticity helped ground the show's more outrageous moments.
Coffee yet?
Your talents have been noted and approved, Miss Brown.
Fact 8.
Mr. Humphries, are you free?
I'm free.
Are You Being Served? Turned its cast into household names across the UK and beyond. Actors like John Inman, Molly Sugden, and Frank Thornton became instantly recognisable. But their fame didn't necessarily translate into long-term financial wealth. Like many BBC actors in the 1970s, they were paid by the episode, with standard union rates. The BBC did not offer royalties or residuals for syndication at the time. When the show aired overseas, especially in the US and Australia, the cast received no extra compensation. This was standard practice at the time, not unique to Are You Being Served? Some actors returned to stage work and pantomime between seasons to supplement their income. John Inman later discussed how the show brought him recognition far more than riches. And while the cast enjoyed enduring fame, their earnings remain modest by today's standards.
One more insult from that man and these clothes are coming off.
Don't start distracting me now. I'm very busy.
Fact 9.
You're lot supposed to be men. You should know.
We haven't got the same problem.
One of the most memorable elements of Are You Being Served? Was the voice of the store's public address system. Each episode opened and closed with announcements like, "Mr. Humphries, leave my pussy alone," or "Customers are reminded that the store will be closing in 5 minutes." The voice belonged to BBC sound supervisor Stephanie Gathercole. She worked behind the scenes and never appeared on camera. Despite never being credited on screen, her dry, deadpan delivery became part of the show's unique charm. She recorded all her announcements separately in the sound booth after episodes were shot. These voiceovers helped establish the rhythm and structure of each episode. Gathercole remained anonymous to most viewers for decades. Her contributions were only publicly acknowledged much later in retrospectives, and today her iconic voice is remembered as much as any character on the sales floor.
Mr. Humphries, do me a favour, take that man's inside leg.
Don't ask me. I've given it up for Lent.
Fact 10.
It's the masked stranger. Take my body, but leave my jewels alone.
After Are You Being Served? Ended in 1985, the BBC launched a sequel series called Grace and Favour in 1992, also known internationally as Are You Being Served? Again, it followed the same characters retiring to run a country inn. The entire surviving cast returned, including Mr. Humphries, Mrs. Slocombe, and Captain Peacock. But the tone shifted dramatically. It was quieter, slower, and lacked the chaotic energy of the original. Viewers missed the vibrant department store setting. The new rural backdrop just didn't feel the same. The show aired for only 2 seasons before being cancelled. Reviews were mixed and ratings steadily declined. Some critics said it felt more like a reunion special than a proper sitcom. Despite its failure, Grace and Favour remains part of the show's legacy, and it serves as proof that sometimes lightning doesn't strike twice.